Welcome to Coffee, Eggs and Inspiration. It's a weekly show that goes out over YouTube and is a podcast over all of the major podcast channels. And each week I get to sit with an inspiring person and listen to them tell their story and share it with all of you. This week is no different. I'm joined by Gethin Jones, TV presenter and radio presenter extraordinaire.
I can't believe you have to read this bit.
Well, you know, I can't remember all of it. And just a fair warning, Gethin does this for a living, right? So this is hugely intimidating for me.
I can't wait.
He is going to take the mickey out of me the entire way through. But let me persevere.
Okay.
I'm going to give you an introduction.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'll sit back, relax, and listen.
Please do.
Okay.
It's because I'm talking at the moment.
Right, sorry.
Okay. You'll get your chance. All right. So. Gethin is a TV and radio presenter. He was in Blue Peter for 4 years, very famous TV program in the UK. A rugby presenter, so if you're a keen rugby fan, and certainly if you're a Welsh fan, you will have seen Gethin presenting the Best of the Boys in Red. And currently the gig is Strictly Come Dancing. It Takes Two, which is the after show. Been doing that for a few years, and both presenting and actually competing. I think in
black and white when I did it.
In black and white, you know, when the cord ran to the TV, and that's the way you change the channels, right?
That's not far from the truth.
And many others. Few fun facts. Not just a pretty face. 4 Guinness World Records. 4, we'll come to that. I don't actually know which ones they are.
You know one of them, don't you?
Well, I know one of them. This is going to be a voyage of discovery. Grade 8 violin and piano, so a talented musician. In fact, played the violin with the Proms, at the Proms with the BBC Philharmonic Orchestra. In 2006, Gethin became the first civilian to finish the Royal Marine Commando 30-mile Yomp. Which sounds very difficult and strenuous, and
hideous experience.
Having been to the gym a few times with you, I can attest to the fact that you're quite fit.
Really, there's hideous, but yeah, I see your point.
Is it appropriate to say I think you're fit?
You just done it.
Okay, I just did it, so it's out there now.
And was there last time, that makes it even worse.
I've got another fun fact. I've got one more fun fact.
This is the longest intro.
Oh no,
in the
there's
world.
two. No. You play the bagpipe?
This is true, I play the bagpipes.
Okay.
And one of them, you play the bagpipes. It's not just one pipe, it's the bagpipes.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
That's good to know. That's
good
feedback, thanks. Well, you appeared in Doctor Who.
Yes.
One time as a Cyberman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And another time as a Dalek operator. Oh, as a Dalek operator. You weren't actually the Dalek. You were operating the Daleks.
They're basically just a shopping trolley.
Okay.
So there's no it's not as glam as you think it is.
Well, that's...
And you know which Cyberman I am, because I'm the one walking down the street the wrong way. It's quite tricky being a Cyberman.
Really? Did you have to walk backwards?
No, just straight. Actually, it was filmed in Cardiff, my home city, and it's just straight down this. Weirdly, I know the street, so I should have got it right, really.
Oh yeah, did you bang into something?
No, not quite.
Doctor Who, assume.
No, he wasn't there.
He wasn't there?
No, she wasn't there, and it was he at the time, it was David Tennant, yeah.
Oh, right.
That's one hell of an intro.
That's a good intro, right?
Do you edit that?
I've done no, I'm not going to edit it down.
That's like the whole thing.
Quality. I did my research.
Do you think people are still with us?
Well, I hope so. You're still with us?
Hopefully.
See what I mean? You're going to take the mickey. So this is entertaining. So let's start by rolling the clock back.
Okay.
Tell me how you first got into TV.
Oh my goodness. So I first got into television when a friend said to me, have you ever thought of being a television presenter? Mm-hmm. And I said no. And I went for a job on a Welsh language show on S4C, the Welsh 4th channel called
You speak Welsh, of course?
Absolutely. First language is Welsh. And to cut a very long story short, the guy who got it didn't want it. And I ended up on the show on my 24th birthday. Started on my 24th birthday, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wearing double denim, a yellow t-shirt, and I was terrible.
Double denim?
Yeah.
You mean a denim jacket and denim jeans?
Yeah, the double D.
Were they sort of light coloured jeans, quite tight at the time?
Yeah. It's terrible now, I remember that.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like a baptism of fire, because there's no course for presenting. There's nowhere you can go to get a degree. It's all really experience. And I was terrible, and just appreciated that it was a real good opportunity. And then just went.
Was it scripted, or were you doing ad hoc?
So imagine Top of the Pops, the old Top of the Pops. It's like that for kids in Welsh. Mm-hmm. So a lot of links, really, a couple of interviews, but not massive ones with the bands. And yeah, sort of as live, so live audience. So talk about a baptism of fire, it really
like
was.
Top of the pops for kids in Welsh.
Yeah,
which is kind of like saying it's
Popty.
sort of like comparing a rugby ball to a watermelon, which has been sliced and covered in chocolate.
Let me just think about that for a second. Maybe you said it was confusing.
Not very like it.
I'm quite hungry now. No, it's similar in that you're doing links into the bands, and then you do a quick chat with the band,
right.
and then you're back into doing another link. So it's all about the music really. I started with Alex Jones, who's on the One Show now, and Sarah Elgan, who does the rugby. No, they're not. Alex is not. No, maybe she is. No, I'll have to look into that. So yeah, and that was it. The start of what was an absolute roller coaster of fun over the last 15 years.
Amazing. Give us a couple of lines in Welsh, will you?
Helo a chroeso i'r sioe. Dwi yma heddi gyda Craig Fenton yn neud y podcast. Oh yeah, eggs, coffee, ysbrydoliaeth, inspiration.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it compulsory?
Where did you see how my voice changed?
You were kind of
presenting,
you were a little bit more.
It's a really difficult language.
We
have the second longest place name in the world.
Actually.
Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll go gerwch yn drobo Llantysilio go go goch is a name of a place in Wales.
Where's the first longest?
Somewhere in Uzbekistan.
Oh right. Do you know how to say that one?
No, I don't. Okay. But in Llanfair Pwll, the train station sign lasts longer than the actual platform, so you leave on the train and the sign still goes. It's mad, that, isn't it? It's like a tourist attraction.
Have you been there?
Of course I've been there.
Okay.
Every Welsh woman and man's been there.
Really?
I'll take you one day.
Is it in the valleys?
No, it's in North Wales.
North Wales, okay. Mountainous North Wales. So onward from the, what happened? You were doing the Welsh show, and then something happened that led you into onto a much bigger stage, right?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, at the time there was a real shortage of boys who could speak Welsh.
Right.
And that's maybe why I got my opportunity, because like I said, I was rubbish and I did everything I could to improve. So I made up a course for myself for presenting. So I would pick up a pen or a fork and talk about it for exactly 1 minute. I would leave a voicemail that was exactly 1 minute. I'd pick up a broadsheet and read about something I wasn't that interested in, like, I don't know, something that was quite tricky, like hedge funds. Read it and regurgitate it into a dictaphone for 2 minutes to try and explain what I just read.
Yeah.
All those things, all those skills that you need for sort of live TV.
Right.
And with a lot of hard work and, a lot of help along the way, did a couple of Welsh shows, and then a show called Blue Peter came calling, as you mentioned. It's one of the longest, or is the longest running children's show in the world. Started in 1958. And I was presenter number 31, 1,600 guys, 8 months of sort of different tests.
Yeah.
And I know I shouldn't say this, but things like that don't happen to a boy like me, and that was the start of something just, incredible.
Were you the first Welsh presenter on the show?
Tim Vincent was the first Welsh presenter, but definitely the first Welsh speaker. And actually, in fairness to Blue Peter, they used that a lot. My identity is probably what got me the job.
Right.
And we did a lot about the Welsh language, like St David's Day and my past and my background in the Welsh language, and it was well received.
Incredible. And two of the things that you must not do on television were very prevalent, working with children and animals.
Absolutely.
How was that?
On live TV, I mean, my goodness.
Any strange experiences?
Oh yeah, I remember a snake coming in, like one of the biggest snakes in the world, and it shat itself everywhere. It's like scrambled egg, and it stinks so bad. It's like you after coming out of the gym. It's that bad now. And it's like you've got this scrambled egg all over the studio floor, and you have to stay positive as a kid's presenter, like, yeah, this is great, look at it, it's like scrambled egg. What are you having for breakfast? And washing a chicken, preparing a chicken for a show.
Washing a chicken, what, before you cook it?
Before you get ready for a show, like you.
Oh, yeah,
right. You get, like it's showing it, a show like the Welsh show.
You groom it, basically.
Oh, don't want that word. Yeah, but I suppose you do have to groom. Yeah. So cool.
Why did the chicken cross the road?
Don't know. Why did the chicken?
To work with you.
Yeah.
To be groomed.
That's a good one, that. So that, and then you obviously mix kids into that, and what I've always loved and still love, and I think it's brilliant, is that children don't really know they're on TV, they don't care, they'll tell you exactly what they think, and you rehearse with them, and you do it live, and it's completely different.
Completely different.
But it makes you a better presenter.
Yeah, so you prepare for the unexpected.
Absolutely.
And you made your own trading course. Can you give me some tips, by the way, as we go?
Can you talk about a pen for a minute and be entertaining with it?
Do you know the
time starts now.
Okay. A minute?
Yeah.
Okay, I've already started. So this is a Bic pen. Bic, I believe, is a French company. They do a lot of plastic goods. The pen is probably the one that they're most famous for. They did for a while produce windsurfers and probably now produce stand-up paddleboards.
See my point? It's hard.
Right.
That's like 20 seconds. Everyone's pretty bored.
Okay,
how
so
do you make that entertaining?
now you do it.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
After
come on.
15 years. This, my friends, is a blue pen. Handy, one of my favourite colours for a pen, actually. Sometimes you get a black pen. You know when you do the forms for doctors, they always have to be black, don't they? So you get a blue pen, like, I wish I had a black pen because I need it for the doctor's form. But the blue pen's really handy, especially if you've done loads of notes on your presenter or your guest today, and pretty much all the notes are wrong. You can see that the blue has taken over. Now it's time for the news. I don't know. It's like
how professional does it?
No, you play around with it, don't you? And it's like,
yeah,
it's about timing, and then you say to yourself, with 10 seconds to go, link into something, and that's card count for a live presenter is everything.
Amazing.
You know, without answering someone in your ear. Like, okay, I'm going.
Isn't that distracting?
Yeah,
You've got
absolutely.
somebody whispering to you. We're not
Yeah.
probably whispering, but shouting.
Oh, shouting and effing and blinding sometimes. And there's two types of talk back. There's switched, which means you only hear the producer or director if they switch the button. And then there's open talk back where you hear everything, which can be handy. For example, when I do sports shows, we have open talk back because you want to hear everyone all the time.
Cool.
But you've got to learn to sort of pick up what's important and what's not.
So you've learned to multitask. I bet you could take a phone call while we're talking.
Yeah, it's handy in real life, exactly. Yeah, so I can be chatting to you and have a listen to a conversation elsewhere to a degree.
Do you want to put your AirPods in and just listen to some music?
We'll see how this rest of this goes.
Oh, okay, that's good feedback. Excellent.
How do you think it's going so far?
I think it's going really well.
Okay, good. Yeah,
But
I've seen a lot of your podcasts, and you've got some really interesting people on
We
there.
do.
So I feel privileged to be here.
Well, it's a privilege to have you here.
At Google.
This is kind of
You're the coolest guy I know.
Stop it.
You work for Google. I was like blown away.
Oh,
You like,
there's quite a few people who work for Google.
yeah, but okay, but I only know you.
Okay.
No,
All right.
random.
So it's
That's
a low
good
bar.
story, actually. How we know each other is really random, isn't it?
So should we tell that story?
Yeah, go on then. You tell it.
Okay. So we had this big conference at a place in Oxfordshire, and lots of customers and clients, and we had some really interesting speakers along. And one of the guests that we had was a very famous cyclist.
Famous Welshman.
Yeah.
Geraint Thomas, Tour de France winner.
Very fresh off the win. And one of the things that he did in the morning after the night before was a spin class. And the night before I think we had a quiz.
It was big. It was a quiz that turned into a big drinking session, which finished about 4 a.m.
4 a.m. for you and Geraint. And we were preparing for that class, sitting next to each other. I had no clue who you were.
Yeah.
You had no clue who I was. And we went into that class, and well, you can tell the rest of it.
Well, he brought a sick bucket in, didn't he? He's the Tour de France winner, and he brought a sick bucket in. And there were quite a few guys that fancied themselves that day against him on these spin machines.
Full mankinis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we started, and then he just went to a different level, and he just killed everyone, didn't he? But what was hilarious, he did another one after that and did the same thing. And then the Q&A that we did after was purely about what happened the night before, which was great. But he's so down to earth. Weirdly, Geraint, you know, I used to ride through the same puddles in Maindy and Cardiff that he did. You know, my mum used to teach in a school, and he's from the same school as Sam Warburton, Welsh rugby captain, and Gareth Bale, Welsh football captain, and Real Madrid, of course. And the three of them went to Whitchurch High, and my mum would have taught them the violin at some point. Jeez. But that sort of regional side of Wales and, you know, the closeness never leaves you. So he was a good lad. We had a good, you know, if you see a Welshman in a bar, you can't go to bed, you have to drink. Even if you've got a spin class 3 hours later.
It's a national protocol.
So, national rules.
Well, it was
anyway,
amazing. We digress, but that's fine. You know, and I have to say that the interview was really good. It's impressive to see how you prepare. You and I did something recently, actually, in this building with Kelly Jones from the Stereophonics. And what really impressed me, this will be second nature to you, but to prepare well for an interview, as I obviously haven't, is actually a really, really hard thing to do. And what impressed me is how deeply you'd gone into Kelly's history and how thoughtfully the interview ran. It seemed very, very natural, but actually there's a lot of technique and research that goes into it. So chapeau. I mean, it's something that very few people can do well.
I think probably the reason you're doing this, one of the best things about it is the preparation, the research. You know, researching someone you're quite interested in and want to do. I always try and get to a point where maybe I don't use 80% of the stuff I prepared for. That's usually the yardstick. But having that 80%, there was a couple of times where you might have mentioned something that I could finish the sentence if you didn't remember, if that makes sense, because you knew the story.
Yeah.
And that sort of immediately gets their respect because they can see you've done your diligence.
Yeah.
And you're able to have a really enjoyable conversation rather than I've got a question that I'm going to ask next no matter what.
Right.
It can be flexible.
So you're really listening to what they're saying and you're
yeah, 100%. Like the flexibility for me, whether it's a director, producer or presenter, flexibility is key. And what I mean by that is do all your prep, work really hard, and when the red light goes on, that's when you enjoy it, you know, and who knows where it's going to go.
I don't have a red light on. Well, I've kind of got a red light here. I'm filming this, by the way, on a smartphone. I'm so impressed by the whole thing. I'm going to steal this equipment when I leave. It's good. But yeah, you know, when as soon as you press play or whatever, you can enjoy the experience rather than thinking I've got a load of questions I need to ask. And I think we did 50 minutes, didn't we? And didn't feel like that, did it? Yeah, and it said it's up on. If anyone, I'll link it down here. Actually, it's on Google Talks.
Here or up there?
Down here.
Okay. You're such a clever man.
Down here, yeah. Down here, down the bottom.
Google it.
For those who are listening on a podcast, I'm pointing down.
Oh.
And you can also see the link down there.
Well, good thinking, yeah.
Do you think? Yeah. Well,
most people listen, don't they, rather than watch?
A lot of people listen. I think a lot of people, on the commute. Certainly, I ride my Brompton bike into work, and I listen to a podcast. Not my own podcast, but
I was just listening
because I was there already. What?
Just listen to your introductions of everyone. Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
No, that's you.
Oh, okay.
No. Okay. Anyway.
Right. So let's go back to TV.
Okay.
Now, one of your other passions, I know this because we've been to a few rugby matches, is rugby. You were a good rugby player.
You turned up in a Welsh shirt, and I'll always respect you for that.
Yeah, I did. It was Wales versus Ireland, not Wales versus New Zealand. I probably wouldn't have been in the Welsh shirt if it was New Zealand. It was a fantastic night, actually. But you're really, you're clearly in with the gang, and you're passionate about the game and incredibly knowledgeable about the game, which makes you a fantastic an anorak, a rugby anorak. Tell me about your passion for the game and how you think about rugby, because it's very different from children's television or Strictly or anything else. Yeah,
it's like really interesting, especially if you're starting out in a career. Do you try and work in your hobby? Do you try and work in your passion? Because sometimes you don't want to. I used to see rugby as a way of a release, going to I used to play it and it was a release of energy. And now watching it, I like going and being a fan and enjoying it. But then if you're working in it, you've got to be careful and find that balance, I suppose. But yeah, it is a passion. I was brought up in music and didn't really get going with rugby until I went to university, but always loved it. I used to love learning all the heights and weights of players for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, really odd. I remember them all.
Yeah, that's quite anorak.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a geek, really, you know that. And then there's been a few opportunities to work in it. And what I like to do is, the game is based around really good personalities. And I think in the UK, from a sporting point of view, we can be quite serious.
Yeah.
If you look at the States and the way they do basketball, the American football, I did a bit of work with the NFL in America. It's an entertainment show.
Yeah.
And I like having a bit of a laugh with the guest. I think it's really important to get those personalities out, because if you're watching live sport, when you're doing the analysis in between, you're probably making a cup of tea or you're getting a drink at the bar. So you've got to give people a reason to watch that bit.
You want a bit of banter and
I think so, yeah.
And so on. Favourite rugby player?
Oh, what, of all time? Oh man, that's really tricky. I'll probably go with Scott Gibbs, the old Welsh centre. Yeah. But I tell you what, I'll give you one for now because I'm quite excited about next year's Sonny Bill Williams.
Oh right.
He's just joined Toronto Wolfpack, who've just made it into the Super League.
Sonny Bill. He came from league, rugby league.
That's what I mean. He's gone back to league.
Yeah.
Toronto is you know that?
Sort of like a yo-yo return.
He's gone back and forth, but he's been a heavyweight champion of New Zealand in boxing. He's one of the most incredible athletes I've ever seen. And he's 34 now, and I'm sure he'll make an impact next year as well. And I'll definitely be watching his first live show.
Geth, thank you for mentioning New Zealander. I didn't ask him to do that, he just did it. Yeah. And you were good enough to introduce me to a number of really interesting rugby players. I remember being on a long conversation with Jamie Roberts.
Jamie Roberts, yeah. You should get him on this.
Jamie?
Yeah.
Would you, Jamie, are you out there? Can you come on this?
Jamie loves talking about himself. He'd be all over this.
He won't come on now.
Yeah, he will. Just hate me. He's an interesting chap. You know, he's a qualified doctor. 93 caps for Wales. In Bath now. It's just a lot of feather to his cap. Yeah, he's good. Same school.
Yeah, we spoke a lot about medicine actually. Incredibly knowledgeable. Bit of a Renaissance man, bit like my friend Anton Oliver.
Oh yeah,
he's a bit of a Renaissance man.
If I had an elephant, you'd have a bag for it, wouldn't you? Jamie Roberts, you give me a walk. Is he a World Cup in Anton Oliver? Probably. It's a New Zealander, that era, probably won something.
I'm going to drag you back onto the piece here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need my notes because I've only got 3 things written down.
Yeah.
Tell me about the. We'll come back to Strictly in a moment, but 4 Guinness World Records.
Yeah, this.
Okay, take us through those. I need to hear.
Peeling and eating a lemon in the fastest time, pulling the most amount of Christmas crackers in a minute, and tying the most amount of shoelaces. And the Jones, which is the largest gathering of people with the same surname under the same roof. 1,583 Joneses all got together in the Millennium Centre in 2001 to beat the Norbergs from Sweden. I love that.
And you still didn't get all the Joneses. Was Alex Jones there?
Alex might have been there. Tom wasn't there because he's not a real Jones. He's a Woodward.
Is it Woodward?
Catherine Zeta, I was hosting it as well in Welsh and English. So I was doing links in English, but then doing Welsh links, leaving an edit point, and then doing the Welsh link down the camera.
Links as in
speaking, piece of cameras.
So you weren't typing the subtitles.
What's a typing link? What do you mean?
You know, you could be talking in English and typing in Welsh, or.
No, that's not a link.
Okay.
The lingo for a link is, hey, welcome to the show. That's a link.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would be a link that I should do now?
Well, no, because you're in a conversation now, aren't you?
Okay.
So the link would be at the end saying, Geth, thanks for your time.
Okay.
See you next time on Eggs, Coffee and Inspiration.
Coffee, eggs and inspiration.
Is it coffee first?
It's coffee first. We have neither. There's no coffee, there's no eggs.
Table, paper and pen.
Geth, thanks for coming. I'm going to ask you the next question.
Oh.
Was that a relevant link or that was a...
No, you don't link in the middle of something. That's weird. It made everyone thought then it was over, didn't they?
No. Are you still with us?
Okay. Sure you don't want to edit some of this?
No.
Okay.
No, it's better unedited. This is YouTube and podcast.
Go on then.
All right. So interesting. Why did you? Did you leaf through the Guinness Book of World Records looking for stuff to do?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. It's basically.
Were these in a short period of time?
Yeah, pretty much. You're like, what's not been broken yet? Let's do them. I know, but let's not.
Such talent.
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. I've got 4 world records. You have. Move on.
That's true. Well, you're assuming. You didn't do your research before you came in.
Longest flight in a Cessna. Is that you?
No, I've got a Piper.
Longest flight in a Piper.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Listen, you're currently.
Listen's an awful thing to say for an expression. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, and you have to look at your notes.
Isn't this great? This is great feedback.
It's like on the go.
I'm getting coaching from the professional here. Boy, you have to have thick skin.
Do you know what? It's stories. That's what.
Stories.
Like when you're like preparing, a lot of people think it's words, but it's stories for me, like themes, and then go around it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
You know, for next time.
Let's talk about the story of dancing.
Okay.
So how did you get into Strictly It Takes Two? Well, actually, let's start with the competition because you did the competition before you became a presenter,
so,
right?
I was. This is a true story. I was building a shelter.
Well, I bet the others are true too, right? Everything that you've said up until now.
Yeah, but this is really bizarre. This one.
Okay.
So, I think all of them are true. Yeah, we'll watch your back. I was building a shelter in a Bolivian jungle when I got a phone call on a satellite phone saying, "Would you like to do Strictly Come Dancing?" And I looked around me, I had cats everywhere. We were eating grubs, we'd been here for 5 weeks, I was filthy dirty, loving life, thinking, well, it can't be as hard as this. And then I met Camilla Darrow up in London, and she came straight up to my nose for the first cha-cha-cha move, and I thought, oh my God, what
She was your dance
partner? No, it's just a random one on the way home. Where are you? She's my amazing dance partner, and it was just the most phenomenal experience. We got to the semi-final.
And she taught you to
100%.
dance, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm musical. I can pick up steps, but I didn't know how to use my body or, perform, if you like. So that was her biggest challenge for me. But we got on really well. We had such a laugh. It was a great year. Alicia Dixon won it, who's now gone on to Britain's Got Talent, and she was a judge on Strictly for a while as well. And it was just the most brilliant, positive. Loved it. I learned to dance. I did all the dances by the semi-final. And my sister and mum are massive fans, so they got to come every week, and that was special. And then I stayed involved with the show bizarrely over the last sort of 12, 13 years. Did the one in America, like the sister show out there. Come back to do It Takes Two for the last 4 years. Yeah. Do bits and bobs, a lot of corporate work with it as well. So it's been a kind of weird part of my life.
You enjoy it? It's a fantastic.
I went to Blackpool last week, where they do the show live there, and just watching it in the audience, just brilliant. Being a fan, just seeing the pressure and people who can't dance pulling off incredible performances.
Yeah. Well,
it's good.
You've got to have some talent, right, to pick it up, and
I think the pros are brilliant. Without that show, without them, that show is nothing. They're incredible. The way they choreograph to the character of the celebrity is brilliant. Yeah. Bring out the best in them.
So, what else is on the horizon? You're looking, you're working on a number of different things. I know that at the moment.
Yeah,
anything you want to talk about?
I think it's all changing. The fact we're here in a room making television now is not something we would have done 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I don't know.
I probably didn't have a smartphone that far ago, so
yeah,
definitely not.
Let's go with that. But my point being is, anyone can make a TV show now. Instagram has become television. It's instant. It's there's not many shows that are appointment to view, like Strictly Come Dancing maybe and sport. But what else?
Yeah.
Everyone's sort of recording it or watching it on their phones. So the whole landscape's changing. So, I see myself as a presenter, as a business, and every good business has to evolve, and that's what I've been trying to do. So a lot of my stuff now might be online, it might be commercial, it might be corporate, a couple of business interests as well. Yeah. I love the process of making TV, but for how long will it be done in that way? I pride myself on prep and trying to be good, and actually sometimes it's not really about that. People want it more, unedited and less polished, that sort of real feeling to it. So you have to adapt to the market you're in.
Well, I'm demonstrating the extreme version of that.
No way.
Breathtaking amateurism.
No, you talk about coffee, eggs and inspiration. You've definitely inspired me in terms of this side of things and the people you've connected me with too. So it's fascinating having a conversation with you about it. And you're doing it and I'm not. So that says a lot, doesn't it?
Well, thanks, man. Look, so there's a lot I know on the horizon. I know some of the things that you're working on. I think you're studying as well. Right?
I am, yeah. That's again an example of trying to evolve. I'm doing a master's in sport and directorship at my old university, bizarrely. Yeah. Weird going there after 20 years. I'm loving it. At the moment we're doing a lot on leadership. And
so you live in Manchester, you're travelling for this. This is the university?
Half the week in Manchester, half the week in London, and then down to Cardiff for bits and bobs. Or, I'll be in Bournemouth next week, I'll be in Barcelona on Wednesday. It's just random pretty much every week. But and then this course is something I can do part-time over 2 years. And I don't know what the outcome will be. I'm hoping it's going to marry something I've done for 15 years, which is media, with something I've loved for 15 years, which is sport. Right. What that might be in 2 years, who knows?
Well, if there's anyone watching here,
you want to rugby playing
dates,
links. Or if you're listening, we're pointing down again.
We're pointing down again. Yeah, I'm going to put all of the details down there.
Thanks, man.
I don't know how you do it. You just do so much.
I don't know how you do it.
Do you know? Here's a question.
You're worse than me. I don't understand.
I'm definitely worse than you.
No, I don't understand how you get through. It's remarkable. You must have 8 days in a week, but you just sort of find a way, don't you?
I try to, and I've got a very patient wife and children.
She's amazing.
She is amazing. Shout out to Meredith. I won't link her to. She won't appreciate
She trained like a demon on Saturday, didn't she?
She
last
did.
Saturday.
Yeah. abasiccook.com. Actually, I can do a shout out for her website, abasiccook.com. I'll link that below. How's that?
God, there's a lot to look at, isn't it?
It's my wife's website.
Yeah. I haven't been on that yet. It's just bad.
You haven't been on the website?
No, I will though.
It's good.
I will watch this back and swipe down.
It's good for basic cooking. So I've got one question that's always excited me about sort of watching you and admiring you. When you're in front of the camera the whole time, you've got to be on, right? You've got to be energetic. You've got to have the game face on. That must be enormously difficult because, like everyone, you must have days where you've sort of got less energy, some days more energy. How do you do it and just be so professional and so consistent the entire time?
Weirdly, I was having this conversation this week through uni and my executive coach. Because you don't always feel positive, and the best leaders are always positive, aren't they? I think there's a leadership role in presenting, which is what I've been exploring this week with my course. And I have massive self-doubt, Craig. I've been through therapy. I've had low times. I've not really talked about it that much, but we're mates. And that is a massive challenge for when you then go on stage and your job is to entertain, whether it's 10 million people on TV or it's 500 people in a corporate. I don't know. I guess you find ways. I think I've got a few techniques that help.
So what are some of the...
A lot of it's breathing. I think I was doing a lot of mindfulness stuff and meditation before I properly knew how to define it. I don't sleep very well. I worry a lot. I'm trying to do a bit more of that, or like trying to work on that a bit more now, especially going into 41, 42, because I'm getting older, not younger. But I think life's for living. I know that's a cliche, but I really do believe that, and I'm passionate about helping others, especially those less fortunate, and that drives me and motivates me, and probably banishes some of the dark moments because I know I'm lucky to be doing what I'm doing and make a difference as well. So to always be on, I think it's authentic. There's that thing of being an authentic person. I like to think that's first and foremost. Yeah. Probably don't always get it right, and do have my low moments, but I think you learn to cope with them with different mechanisms that I've been taught over the year.
You're very modest as well about the stuff that you do on good social causes. Would you like to talk about some of those?
You're the same though. We chat about it, don't we, together?
We do.
It's enjoyable to do, and I'm like, it's amazing what you're doing in the East End of London, and with the guys that you're working with. I don't know how much you've talked about it yourself, but autism's a big part of my life because of my nephew. So we have a little charity called NAI, which is the Welsh word for nephew. My best friend and I both have. Is that going to count? That's very.
Yeah, I'll put the link below.
But my best friend Sean and I started it. We both have autistic nephews, so NAI seemed like a great name. And the last 18 months, we've made massive. Just a dent into autism in Wales without going into it in too much detail, and that's helping short-term, medium-term, and long-term. And the dream one day is to have a autistic school in Wales that is fully funded and gives kids an opportunity to be the best of themselves with autism. That's
an incredibly important, high social impact thing, and you're really quiet about it, really modest about it, but it has such deep impact. There's probably some people watching who are thinking about what comes next. After school, after university, perhaps pivoting in their career. If they're thinking about a life in media and entertainment, what advice would you give?
It's tough now, isn't it? I think, like I was saying before, the landscape is changing so much. I think the downside is there's so much choice, but it's also the good parts, because like we're doing here, you can set up a camera, you can talk, and you can get out there. Joe Biden, who you set me up with as well, look what he's done. He's created his own following. Joe Sugg was on Strictly Come Dancing. Didn't really know who he was in the mainstream, but my goodness, his world of following is incredible. Like Saffron this year on Strictly Come Dancing as well, like social media star. That's how we announce her. So I think you can make your own world, to be honest. And I think if you're passionate about it and you really want to do it, then you need a bit of luck along the way. But there's nothing wrong with hard work and getting it out there rather than saying you're going to do it. A lot of people, like how many times have I said to you, I've got this idea, I need to do it, and then haven't done it yet. Even I do that because other things take over. But if you're passionate about something and you want to be out there and you want to be a voice, then get it out on your phone and then beg everyone you know to sort of follow you and put it out there,
Well, that's fantastic advice.
I don't know, but that's how it feels right now.
Well, I don't think anyone knows, but I think it's brilliant advice to sort of follow your passion and just get on with it and work and persevere. I'm really glad that we had a chance to speak like this, because I know you personally.
Yeah, we do.
Many people will know you from the TV.
We're on a WhatsApp group called The Hurt Locker.
The Hurt Locker.
Me, you and Ollie, and we should give him a shout out because he's just had a baby.
Ollie.
That's why he's not been training.
And Sandy.
Ollie and Sandy. The three of us go training, and I love it purely, and I know I'm sorry to cut across you here, but you've got someone sort of, the TV presenter, Ollie, who's one of the best graphic designers in film, a draftsman rather, in the UK, yourself, and the breadth of knowledge and people and chat that you have. We all get together on a Saturday after training. I love it because the conversation goes everywhere, doesn't it?
Kind of a little random.
Hence why you've sort of developed this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I'm really, I'm really glad that we had a chance to talk about what sits behind, what people see on the TV screen, because I can say from the heart that you're a genuinely nice guy, authentic, incredibly intelligent, very clever. Talking about this pen, I was amazed. I was really interested.
I didn't do a minute.
It was much better than mine.
I didn't do a minute. I did like 30 seconds and bottled it. So.
Well, no, it was much better than mine. You fell asleep during mine. So listen, Gethin Jones, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure. Cheers.
Woo! Woo!